Look, I have said this more times than I want to say it. The fact that we have these great jobs and we basically live in broadcasting's toy department because we travel from city to city and we cover games and we talk hoops, and it's all fun and games. Between games 2 and 3 of this series, we were reminded again how real life just barges in and emphatically and brutally intercedes and intervenes. And it happened outside Houston at Santa Fe High School on Friday morning when 10 were killed, 8 students and 2 teachers. So the Houston Rockets, as they practiced on Friday afternoon, this came just hours after this shooting, they weren't talking about, well, how many ISOs do the Rockets run and is there something wrong with Steph Curry's jump shot and which team is playing with more force. They were talking instead about how once again in this country, innocent lives were taken brutally and tragically.
It's sad and it's scary because it's becoming the norm, and that should never be the case, which is why these conversations have to continue about the gun laws. And, when you send your kids to school, it's supposed to be a safe haven, somewhere that they can be educated and be, most of all, protected. And I can't help but think about my own kids.
It's a tragic situation that hurts your heart when you think about kids going to school being safe, and obviously glad that CP said something about it. It is an issue that is way bigger than basketball, way more important than basketball, and something that needs to be addressed.
Steve Kerr has weighed in on it. It never surprises me anymore. This is a part of our culture now. The tide shifted with the Douglas shooting because you were dealing with a bunch of kids who were old enough to put up a fight and to become of voting age. Things are going to change when young people in this country decide to vote. And as we speak, young people are registering to vote all around the country. This is going to get to a point where it's not a partisan issue. It's going to get to the point to where if you want to hold a spot in public office, you're going to be held accountable regardless of your party affiliation. I think this is the way when I saw Charles yesterday at the hotel, the first thing we talked about was, can you believe this has happened again, and what do we do? And I wish we had answers.
Well, it's not a simple answer. I sit back and, number one, this can't be the norm. I think Chris did a great job talking about, man, you send your kids to school to learn and be safe. Now, as a parent, you're at work doing your thing. You have to worry about what's happening around your kid. And I think we got to take a step back. It's not all about the guns. It's mental issues. I think some parents got to do a better job with their kids. I asked Kenny on the way over here, can he always look at his kids' computers to know what's on there? I think we as parents, when you have kids, you should know what's on their computer, who their friends are, and things like that. Because you have no rights when you're a kid, in my opinion. Anybody who I'm paying all their bills, who living in my house, I should have the right to look into their computer 24/7. Because listen to some of the law enforcement officers talking about this thing took a long time to come together. When you're ordering stuff on the internet, trying to learn about putting bombs and things together, your parents, like I said, and I don't blame parents, but they should know what their kids are doing. And like I say, there's no easy answer, but it's sad that this thing is becoming the norm.
I would agree with Charles, and it's sad, without question. My condolences go to the families, go to the school district, go to the kids in the school that have to deal with this far beyond than today, far beyond today, to be part of that situation. I think there is a big issue. I'm a why guy. Why does things happen instead of that they're just happening? And for me, I think that there are mental health issues that are going across the country that are not being addressed. I think there are, importance issues that are not being assessed, meaning if you don't care about your own life, of course, a lot of times people don't care about others. And I think that has to be addressed. And lastly, would be the application of how you receive guns. That has to be addressed. because all of those are intertwined together. And until we have this self-help, self-confidence in oneself, you would have in others as well. And I think that is part of it, along with the mental health, intertwined with the gun laws. Those are the three areas that should be really looked at and really should be activism and activations that can help those.
Yes, my condolences also goes out to the family. Not a loss for words. It's going on way too much. When I was in high school, something like this would never happen. And, you know, it's been happening way too often. I agree with everything you guys are saying, but the powers that be need to get off their ass and make the changes. The ones who really can make the changes need to make the changes. Because, you know, we have the same conversation every time. And, you know, our conversation only take us so far. The ones that can change the laws and change the rules, all these old people that's, you know, been in their seats 30 and 40 years, they're the ones that need to make the change.
I want to make one thing, too, honey. You know, we have a really beautiful thing going on in the NBA now with this new mental thing that DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love,
the mental health
awareness initiative, whatever. We need to have somebody at these schools for these kids if they're having some type of issues. Like if Kevin Love, who's a great player, DeMar DeRozan, who's a great player, and they're multimillionaires, they're grown men who can admit, I need some help. But think about it. Do these schools really have a place where a kid is struggling where he can go to off the record and talk to get some type of psychological help? We need to address that because everybody want to say it's about the guns, and I'm a firm believer we need to do something about easy access to guns. But man, a lot of this stuff is mental.
And I think vigilance is a big part of this equation too. And I think you've all three referenced it. The parents being vigilant.
Yes.
Parents not allowing access to their guns to one of their kids who's able to take a dad's shotgun and a handgun to a school and carry this out. But also
looking at their computers.
But also classmates to me. Also, look, if you know something's up with somebody and something just doesn't feel right, tell somebody that something's not right with this guy. You know, I think that's huge. And I you talk about changing lawmakers or laws, and I think it takes a change of mindset. It takes a change of heart. I think we're living in a place where violence is encouraged and it's permissible, and until life becomes sacred and the last thing you would accept is it's being taken from innocent people, then we're not going to move anywhere. But I hate being on a basketball show and we're talking about this. But this
something
is real
silly
life.
Like basketball.
And this is what we do.
Yes.